Available global petrochemical capacity was up at the end of last week despite the U.S. Gulf Coast preparing for Hurricane Ida. The Petrochemical Weekly Update starts now. Last Sunday, Hurricane Ida made landfall in Louisiana with 150-mile-an-hour sustained winds. It was 16 years ago that Hurricane Katrina made landfall, killing 1,800 people and causing $125 billion worth of damages. This time, the levees held, and the people of Louisiana were much better off than they were 16 years ago. Prior to making landfall, several producers of petrochemicals decided to shut down their facilities. Even though they may have been able to withstand the storm, they did not know for sure that their suppliers could continue to bring in feedstocks, because if they didn't, that could crash your facility. And you don't know whether or not your customers can continue to take products, because that could put you in containment and also shut down your facility. And of course, you have to worry about the safety and well-being of those running the plants during a storm like this. And even though it costs a lot of money to flare products and shut down and restart your facility, it is generally the best business decision to make. So you might be asking yourself, what happens to global capacity availability in petrochemicals if another storm like this hits? Well, the Petrochemical Global Market Intelligence Advisory Service can help. It is supported by the Petrochemical Strategies Expert Network, powered by i2-enabled and Industrial Info Resources. So if you have questions and you want answers, ask me. Now let's take a look at what happened over the past week and what we expect to see next week. From the PCGMI Start of Day dashboard, you can see that global petrochemical available capacity ended the week at 945 million pounds per day. That is up almost 4 million pounds per day from the previous week. Drilling into the details, you can see that an additional 6.1 million pounds per day of petrochemical capacity came online in Asia due to restarts of units in India and Indonesia. In North America, offline capacity increased by 2.4 million pounds per day due to preemptive outages ahead of Hurricane Ida. By the end of this week, I expect the Sabec complex in Belgium to restart, adding 8.5 million pounds per day of capacity in Europe and additional capacity to come online at the Daisan refinery in China. US capacity is expected to take a little time to return to pre-Ida levels. Let's turn to look at the headlines. After more than 6 months of high-pressure jousting among some of Canada's biggest energy players, Brookfield Infrastructure Partners announced last week it had won enough shareholder support to take over Inter Pipeline Limited, which is Canada's 4th largest pipeline company. You may recall that Inter Pipeline is developing an integrated propane dehydrogenation and polypropylene complex in Alberta, which is expected to be in service in early 2022. Saudi Arabia is the largest chemical producer in the Middle East. It is home to big companies like Sabec, Aramco, and Tasnee, which produce petrochemicals, fertilizers, and chlor-alkali products. In a bid to diversify the economy and reduce dependence on oil exports, Saudi companies are shifting focus towards manufacturing petrochemical products and investing generously into the chemical processing industry. And finally in the news, power providers, oil and gas producers, petroleum refiners and chemical processors were continuing Monday to assess damages caused by Hurricane Ida, which left 1 million power customers without electricity in Louisiana. More than 1.9 million barrels per day of crude oil processing capacity were offline on Monday at 6 petroleum refineries in the state, and 12.5 billion pounds per year of ethylene capacity was offline at 6 petrochemical plants. Industrial Info's research teams were calling industrial facilities across the affected region to determine the level of damage, when electricity may be restored, and when operations could resume. Thank you for watching the Petrochemicals Weekly Update. If you have any questions about anything you saw here today, ask me. I'm Robert Sawchuk, and I will see you next time.